Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Antony, can I get your video, please?
Yeah, it should be on. Hi, everyone.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Antony, can we get your video, please? Can you switch on your
That's
video?
Robin.
My video is on, I think.
Yes,
Yes,
I can see Anthony.
yes.
Robin.
Oh, we can't see Antony.
Robin.
I think Robin is off.
Oh, I'm actually.
No,
I'm
you're on.
I'm on.
Yeah,
Robin is
you're
on. Pravi, can you check into this? What is the issue there?
Yeah, I can. I'm seeing myself. I'm seeing myself.
Okay, we can see you as well. Miko has joined as well.
I think Miko has joined as well. Anthony, can you switch off your video and start again? Yes, I got it.
Is that better? Cool.
Okay.
Hi.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to start our next session, which is truly important in this current times because it talks about the role of blockchain and crypto in the post-COVID era. And we have some wonderful speakers here today to talk and discuss about this. I think we have a slight problem with Nico joining in, but he will soon join on the panel. To take the head on the panel, we have a very interesting person, Sonny Mohanty. She's the regional director of LA Token, and she's based out of Singapore. Sonny has been a close friend and has been part with us on the conferences many times, and she will be moderating this panel. Joining me today, I have Professor Olinga. He's the director of CPEG UK, and he's been kind enough to join us on this panel as well. And we have Dr. Robin Kiera joining all the way from Germany. He's the CEO of Digital Scouting. And also joining us is Antony Welfare. He's the Group MD at Lexos. Okay. We also have another panelist, Miko Matsumura, who's the co-founder of Evercoin, and Pandu Sastrowardoyo, who's the VP of Consulting at Blockjakarta. I think they're having some technical issues, but they'll join the session as soon as they can. So I hand over the stage to you, Sonny. Please take this panel forward.
Oh, thank you, Sarfraz. Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to moderate your panels, both offline and now online. It's very interesting.
Thank you so much. You're most welcome. Please go ahead. I'll switch off.
Hi guys, as Sarfraz introduced, I'm Sonny Mohanty. I'm the regional director of Blockjakarta, and we're top 20 cryptocurrency exchange in the world, and I'm based out of Singapore. So today we have a very interesting panel discussion. It's the role of blockchain and cryptocurrencies in the post-COVID era. And I'd like to introduce the speakers again. Professor Olinga, who's the director of CPEG UK. Hello. We have Pandu, who is the VP consulting Blockjakarta.id. Hope she's there. Next, we have Dr. Robin Kiera, who is the CEO of Digital Scouting.de. Hi, Robin, from Germany, from UK. And then we have Antony Welfare, who is the Group MD Locksoft. Hey, Antony. And last but not least, we have Miko Matsumura, who is the co-founder at Evercoin. Hello, guys. Welcome to Blockjakarta. So this is my probably fourth or fifth time attending this event and this conference, and first time online. So I would like to start with Robin with a question, very interesting question because of his experience and expertise. So, Robin, this question for you. How can we raise the awareness of blockchain solutions and technologies outside the community? I mean, obviously, the community is very much aware about the principles because we self-educate, we learn, we network. But what about the community? What about the people outside the community? How can you raise the awareness about blockchain? Maybe cryptocurrencies as well, because people perceive that cryptocurrencies are probably not real. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sonny, for the question, and also thank you very much for the whole panel here. I think what's important is and maybe as a background, Digital Scouting is a blog in insurance and finance. We scout trends around the world, blockchain, currency, and also others. And what we see when we talk with...
Mute themselves, please. Mute.
Okay.
Sorry, Robin is speaking.
Hi.
Can mute, please. Others can mute themselves.
Okay,
Cool.
I'm going to be on mute.
Okay. What I wanted to say is that it's important to understand that people outside the crypto and blockchain space have a very less understanding of what it is. And there are a lot of prejudices, a lot of fears, a lot of ideas. Some are true, some are not. And what I always say when people have brilliant solutions out there, if it's in tokenization, if it's in infrastructure or some interesting applications, it's really important to understand that we are with blockchain somewhere where the internet was in 1988, maybe 92 or something, where the first people had their email addresses. I think that's super important to understand that when we're outside our specialized field and when we have, nerdy discussions about different, technologies, to really always talk about the basics. Even when you meet a CEO of a bank, of an insurer, or anybody else you want to do business with, to really understand, to really talk about the basics. And then also talk about like very simple use cases people understand in their space. In insurance, we have, for example, spaces where they have like accounting data that's being exchanged via blockchain. Sounds very boring, but that's something that the industry understands. Oh, this solves this problem. And last but not least, what I really love about this industry is share your passion. Even when you do not explain the basics and maybe we don't have a lot of use cases for a certain person we talk to, talk about with passion and show how much you care about this topic, and that always transports then at least interest at the other person. So but the bottom line is to raise awareness, is to talk about it, but to talk about it also in very simple terms. Avoid complex scientific terms, for example. I think that's also something super important. And go out there. And it's great that we meet, but we also need to go out there and talk about it and talk to our friends outside the.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you hear me, guys? Well?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, great. So, Robin, sorry, I just forgot to ask you. Can you just introduce your company, like what your company does?
Yeah, happy to. So I'm from an insurance industry and finance industry, and I founded Digital Scouting as a blog, as a hobby, and suddenly it exploded. We have like 10,000s of fans, millions of views each month, and now we are a small marketing and consulting company that's hyper-focused on optimizing banks and insurers, how they use and how they market in a post-COVID or post in an internet age like we do today, and we optimize sales forces and things like that, and help also with digital strategies. And by the way, we also help people enter the European market. So if anybody's out there who wants to enter the European market, we can help with that.
Oh, that's great to know the additional information. Thank you, Robin, for that. I would like to next move on to Antony Welfare, who is a Group MD of Blockspert. Sorry, Antony, could you start by giving a short intro of yourself? And I would like to ask you about this question. How can blockchain technology be used to distribute the helicopter money better than the current technology? And for the people who do not understand what is helicopter money, I would also request you to explain that.
Yeah.
Antony, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. And hi, everyone. So I'm Antony, I'm Managing Director of the blockchain practice at Luxoft. Luxoft is part of DXC Technology, which is a global technology company. It used to be HP Enterprise and CSC. Around 160,000 people globally, consulting on all technology really for big enterprise and corporates. So I look after specifically blockchain for enterprises globally. And just as a little plug, I'm also the author of Commercializing Blockchain. And as Robin said, this is about no nonsense how to use blockchain in enterprise. And I think it's just about, what Robin said. It's very important that we're positive and very real about what blockchain can do. Blockchain has some amazing skills for the future, some amazing use cases, and we really need to focus on that. So I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years, and it's really important that we keep the discussions about real users so that people that are not in the community can understand what this technology can actually do. And I think the helicopter money, so the reason I picked this topic is obviously with COVID, a large number of governmental organisations around the world, different countries, have paid or want to pay their people money. So the US is the best example, where the US has said that they want to pay every single person $1,200. And this is to keep the economy going, to keep people eating and paying rent, etc. The US term really is called helicopter money. So it's given a vast amount of money to the population very quickly. So if you take it back to the UK where I live, we've got sort of 60, nearly 70 million people. Imagine if you had to make payment of money as the government to 70 million people overnight. It's more or less impossible, because as citizens of governments, we don't necessarily have a connection with the government with our bank accounts. Or more importantly, we might not have a bank account, because if we're part of the underbanked and, some other parts of the society where we might not even use technology, for example, older people. So for us, we looked at this back at the start of the COVID crisis on how to help the UK government distribute millions of payments. And DLT, blockchain technology, is perfect because you've got lots of money coming in at the top, going down to millions of people. And that's very complex. And you want to know as a government that you put in X billion and that it went to these people in these areas. And also, more importantly, that I, as anti-welfare, received the money and I used the money correctly and I used it for different things. So the system that we developed can be used in different ways, whereby it can go to my bank account. So using something called open banking, it goes into my bank account. I verify it. I have to, give some of my national insurance number and other details so they know that it's me. Or we can send it as a prepaid card. So imagine a MasterCard or a QR code type thing where you can go shopping to buy food. So I think it was a very, very bold project, a very big project to bring in. We actually didn't use it in the end because we used the old system, the original system. But what's happened, it started the discussions on, if we have to do this again, should we use DLT? Because DLT is immutable, it's shared, transparent, and the important thing is you'll be able to track what payments went to which people and what happened next. And that's very powerful for a government to have this information and still have control of the money coming in and going out. So the next use case of this is actually for charities. If you imagine charities, they have millions of donors bringing money in and they give out to millions of different recipients. So it's the same thing. We have this DLT in the middle and it's money in, money out, but it's all tracked. So we know exactly that the $1 million donation that you gave went to these 10 people or these 10 organizations in these 10 countries. So it's been amazing to see how this crisis has managed to bring forward something that we've talked about for years. A bit like we said with Robin at the start, we've talked about lots of different things, but this is real now. These are real things that blockchain can do and really benefit society and enterprise and companies. So it's been an exciting project. We're right at the start of it. There's still a long way to go, but the crisis has helped to bring forward this discussion. You're on mute, Sonny.
Hi, can you hear me now?
That's all right.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Antony. Thank you for those insights. So next, I would like to move on to Professor Olinga, who is the director of CCEG UK, and he mostly works with the government in the space. So we would like to hear about frictionless trade and transactions and the sponsorship of UK university research centers on industry, the big thing, the Industry 4.0. So over to you, Professor Olinga.
Thank you very much, Sonny. So we are a not-for-profit center established about 12 years now, and we're 170,000 strong around the world. And our main focus is on the measurement of value, and through blockchain now is a transaction of value. And by value, we mean, often blockchain is associated with financial value, the movement of money. But the fact is, love has value, doesn't it? And hope has value, and trust has value. And the problems, going back to your original question Sonny. The fact is, blockchain has been around for 12 years and failed to actually gain traction. It is not the Googles of the world of blockchain, the Facebooks of blockchain, the Amazons of blockchain have not yet happened after 12 years. And we're only seeing it happen now, and not on financial assets, it's on social assets. These non-financial assets are starting to move. So a little bit about us. We have a large team, altogether around 1,000 people. So we have 488 editors in Frontiers in Blockchain. It's the biggest peer-reviewed academic journal in the world in that area. And we have a sponsorship of the university, Birmingham City University in Fourth Industrial Revolution. And there we have 3 divisions, which is looking at fintech in blockchain. We have a big £210 million banking DLC project, a 5G platform, and a TTP procurement platform where we brought out a coronavirus certificate. So where we're finding blockchain to be of great value is in the big thing where trust has been lost. We now think that trust has been lost during the COVID-19 pandemic problem. People don't trust countries, they don't trust products, they don't trust each other. And so we brought out a certificate, and it's we have around 2,000 multinationals who've now subscribed to that. We have issues around, and that's around the procurement sector, but we've applied the same technology also now in frictionless trade. Here in Britain, we have a Brexit issue. Post-Brexit, we need frictionless trade. There are trade issues now between countries. I sit on the Chinese regulator, the 7 of us, the blockchain regulator, and as you will know, China dominates 70% of blockchain and cryptocurrency transactions in the world. We have more, 2/3 of the world's patents are in China in blockchain. And there we look at movement of people and products, etc., through blockchain, and that's why also they've been so very good at looking at data-driven solutions for the world. So I think, just to cut it very quick, is to say that although blockchain has failed for 12 years now to gain traction, and there's no mainstream applications where we all go, that's why we need blockchain. Apart from Bitcoin, which is a little tiny drop in the financial world, the reality is that the bigger issues of blockchain, what it can do, is actually, as my colleague said in the previous, Antony said, is actually the non-financial stuff, the social stuff, where it's going to transform the world, where Black Lives Matter is a trust issue. COVID-19 is a trust issue. Frictionless trade is a trust issue. And so this is now, we're working with governments around the world. We work with FINMA in Switzerland and UK, of course, and regulators and so on, where trust has become broken down in our society, and we see that is the greatest application of this amazing technology.
Okay, excellent. So trust is the way, because of that is the application where it lies for the blockchain technology. That's the key. Thank you, Professor Olinga. I'd like to move on to our next speaker, Pandu, who is the VP of Consulting, Blocksphere ID. Hi, Pandu, you there?
Hi, I'm here. Hello.
So I
Hey,
hope
everyone.
I haven't missed out on you.
I don't think you did.
Yeah.
You haven't missed out on me. Don't worry.
That's great. So basically, you were with IBM before, as you mentioned. So how are these enterprise players like IBM, Google, SAP utilizing and adopting blockchain? And what are the strategies, and why do strategies matter? What strategies they're adopting, and why do they matter?
Okay, so the reason I'd like to talk about this is because there's been a lot of new offerings that are coming out of the enterprise space.
The voice has there's an echo, there's a loop.
There's an echo. Okay. Is there still an echo?
Can everybody else who is not speaking put themselves on mute, please? Thank you.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, better.
Is this better? Okay, so the enterprises are actually coming into blockchain in a big way. I'm talking about such players like AWS, Microsoft, IBM, SAP. Each of them basically has their own way of coming into the blockchain space and different strategies as well. AWS has managed blockchain. Azure has the blockchain workbench. IBM, of course, has Hyperledger Fabric. SAP has SAP Leonardo, which is a blockchain as a service. Now, the reason I think this is important and the strategy is actually important is that this really shows that the two ecosystems are merging together. It was when we started at the blockchain space, as a lot of you know, it seems like two different spaces. There were the enterprise IT people, and there were also the blockchain people. And blockchain people seem to be from a different world, but in the last 3 years, 2 years, they're really uniting, and the enterprise players are coming into the space, which means that a lot of new technologies are going to be integrated into the space as well. I have a strong belief in the integration of technology and how blockchain can actually help other technologies, not just help businesses, but also help other technologies fulfill their value. Big data can be enabled with blockchain. Everything that's related to trust can actually be put into, can basically be enabled with the way we approach blockchain. I like the previous speaker saying that COVID is showing that our, Black Lives Matter, supply chain issues, COVID, all of those are trust issues. And these are issues that can be really solved by actually utilizing blockchain and integrating it with current technologies, not displacing current technologies, of course, but actually making them work hand in hand. I think that's actually why I think the way that enterprises are moving into this space is actually, I think it's something that would warm our hearts for the future of blockchain as well. Now, there might be some people who are saying that this is enterprises, these are the people who sell boxes, monolithic blockchains in a box, and there might be some cynicism there as well. I think they have a point. And in some of these offerings, there are still basically enterprise blockchains that are not really what you would call a blockchain in the past. But I think it's high time that actually the enterprises go towards this route. Like even the enterprise that notably is not really strongly in the blockchain space, Google, is putting out offerings that are remarkably similar to what we can do with a blockchain. They have something called Google Anthos. It's not blockchain, but it integrates multiple data centers. Like you can put your basically, you can put your servers and storage in multiple clouds, not even their own. And one thing that I think is very important with that kind of strategy is that it removes decentralization from this. It actually creates a way for creating solutions that are decentralized and actually assisting people that are wanting more trust in their networks. So I think, at the end of the day, it's an integration of multiple ecosystems, and these ecosystems are going to help each other. I think the way to do it is actually to utilize blockchain to fix our worldwide supply chain issues. What IBM is doing, for example, with TradeLens, and we should actually be hand in hand and help create the future together. I think that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Pandu. Thank you really for those insights. So I just want to ask a very interesting topic, which is also very debatable and controversial, moving away from the enterprise blockchain space into the cryptocurrency space. So I'd like to start with Robin Kiera, because obviously he runs, he's a CEO of Digital Scouting, which is more into digital marketing space, I think. So what do you think is the importance of the new tokens, such as the altcoins or the tokens and the cryptocurrencies emerging in the market? So what do you think the future, and how do you help founders and startups get traction?
Well, I think it is all about what the others have talked about, the trust issue. And I want to share a little story how Amazon won my trust a long, long time ago. I mean, there was a time where I never actually ordered something that was very expensive, like 10 years ago. And what happened there was I did not trust Amazon. Why did I not trust Amazon? I was afraid that when I buy a TV for, I think it was $250, that I, have nobody to go to when it's broken. So I was really hesitant, but then it was $100 cheaper than when I was going to the store next door. So I bought it. And what happened is that a few weeks later, the TV was broken. I was like, oh my God, I fell for this internet scam. Nobody's going to pick it up. I'm, now stuck with this broken TV. And what happened is Amazon, sent an electrician and they repaired the TV. And I think that's something, before we see mass adoption in crypto, mass adoption in blockchain technology that is customer facing, we need experiences like that for the masses. Yes, blockchain maybe can leverage trust, and crypto can solve problems or even deliver tremendous opportunities for the masses around the world. Financial freedom, financial responsibility, and those topics. But I think to gain the trust about and deliver experiences that it's for everybody a no-brainer to buy actually everything on Amazon like I do currently. That's a big challenge. And I don't have a crystal ball, but what I think is I'm not sure if the Bitcoin hype was something good for the adoption of the cryptocurrency, because there was a lot of bad media about this is just another a bubble or a scam. And I think that's something where we need to build up the trust with use cases and real experiences. And by the way, there are but there are lots of great use cases out there, stories from people that used old coins, new coins for certain things. And Sonny, you're running one of the biggest exchanges there. So I think to share this really and to share it also outside the community is a big topic. And I'm looking forward to see the development, what we see there inside crypto and outside crypto. But I think we shall not underestimate the effort it takes and the killer app it takes to win the trust of people outside our community.
Awesome points, Robin. Thanks a lot for that. I think I would next move on to Antony and ask the same question. So besides the underlying blockchain technology, which brings a lot of trust, how can cryptocurrency, which is an application of the blockchain technology, also get massively adopted? And how can people start trusting it? Because currently what we see, the currencies are losing its value, be it US dollar, other countries. So how can digital currencies or cryptocurrency emerge stronger during COVID-19 and post COVID-19? Antony, over to you. Hi, Antony, are you there?
Hi, yeah, sorry, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Did you get my question?
No, sorry, I literally just I'm just back in now. Sorry, the connection died. What was the question? Sorry.
So, Antony, talking about blockchain and the use case application of blockchain is the other cryptocurrencies. It's the trust factor which matters a lot. Yeah. So, besides blockchain technology getting massively adopted and massively trusted, how can cryptocurrencies be massively adopted and massively trusted? And because obviously, as we see, there are a lot of debates around the currencies, the dollars, and losing their value during this time. So how can digital currencies or cryptocurrencies emerge stronger during COVID-19 and post-COVID-19? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, I've lived through the 2017 ICO boom and then the 2018 and 2019 sort of destruction of cryptos. And I think, like with any new technology, it always goes too big too quickly. But there was a lot of learning from that. And I think what the crypto sort of classes, well, in the crypto world from the start did was show, the first use case, obviously, from Bitcoin and further. But what it's done, if you look at a lot of the successful or the cryptocurrencies that are there now, if you look at what's behind them, rather than the actual value of the ETH or, NEM or whatever else, if you look at what they've built behind, they're building some systems where we can use that to transfer value, be it, non-financial value, so, using it as transactions. So I think where it will get adopted, I don't know yet. There's still a lot to go. I think the central bank digital currency world is going to be interesting. Now, is that crypto or is that not? Because technically, it could just be a digital dollar. But if it's something like stablecoin or, a more Libra type coin, then you could probably argue that's a cryptocurrency. So I think it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of work happening with central bank digital currencies at the moment. And I was reading some of the papers around it, and it's quite interesting where the central banks are suggesting that they need to now do this to stop cryptos doing what they're doing. But a lot of the cryptos have different use cases. They're not there for paying all of the dollars or all of the pounds. It's so there's this interesting. I think we're at sort of phase 2. I'd say, let me phrase it as the more mature adult world of cryptocurrencies, where actually something real or a number of real ones will come out. Does that mean the value of ETH is going to be 1,000, £1, or a billion? I don't know, because I always question what is the value of an ETH, because it should only be the value of the gas, the value of the transaction, unless you look at it as an asset. Now, you go back to Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin digital gold? And I think that is where it's become really important, because it is the god of the crypto markets. If it goes up, everything else does. If it goes down, everything else does. Give or take. And people are putting money in Bitcoin to offset the fiat printing, so the currencies that's being printed. Look at the Federal Reserve. They've printed more dollars in the last 6-12 weeks than ever in history. Gold has gone up in value. Silver's gone up in value. Bitcoin. Now, do you want to hedge your future by saying, actually, I'm going to own Bitcoin because as long as you own it in your own wallet, nobody can take it away. The only way they can take it is if they turn off the internet everywhere. I'm not convinced any government can turn off the internet everywhere. So I think there's still that use of a store of value for Bitcoin. I think the others will have different ways to transfer value and to value things. So there could be a charity coin, for example. You put money into a charity coin and that gets distributed wherever it's needed, where people are in need. So there's a lot more to come from this. I think we're at this second phase, and a more mature phase of actual real business and real social issues are going to come from it. So it's going to be a really interesting place. And also one more thing, because I work in the enterprise world, cryptocurrency, do not talk about it until about a year, 18 months ago. Now you can start to talk about it. Blockchain is not cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is built on it. Yes. And so now there's a lot more, and tokenization obviously will be a whole new world of digital assets. They're technically cryptocurrencies, to be honest.
Yes, absolutely. Great. Awesome points, Antony. I'd like to move to Professor Olinga right now, because Professor is working with governments and more research on blockchain technology. What do you think is the future of cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, CBDCs, Bitcoin, and all those currencies out there? Are they going to be sustaining in the long run, or is it just one player like CBDCs are going to be around and the rest would be like all gone? Well, what's your thoughts on that? Hello?
You're on mute, Professor.
Sorry? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I'm sorry. Antony, thank you for telling me I'm on mute. I apologize. I think a lot of people I know wish I was always on mute, actually. I think in China, we consider the global market for cryptocurrency and blockchain together in the future is about $103 trillion, a big future market. And we wish to, of course, in China, dominate the market, blah, blah, blah. So that's as normal governments will do. But the reality is it comes, as your colleagues have just said, from history of 95% of ICOs were scams, 20% of monies raised have been hacked. So it's a very dangerous area and synonymous with not very good provenance. However, as your colleagues have said, the stuff that we see coming forward and stuff that we're involved in is, as an example, and I'll give you 3 quick examples. One is a TTP token, which your colleague talked about in procurement, so a buyer in a supply chain reward the supplier 99% in normal cash and 1% in a token that is aligned to the values of that company, whether it's modern slavery or sustainability of the product or etc. And you can only cash it in at an exchange if you are compliant to those values, if you have certification to those values. So you can choose to lose 1 or 2%, but to get aligned to your buyer, you need to actually change the behavior of your company. Another one we're doing is big project in the Middle East where they're looking at creating huge cities, have new fundamental paradigms. There's a city called Neom, which is $500 billion the Saudis have put in. And that is they want a new city with new ways of operating. And here you're looking to reward people based on good behavior. Now, we're still experimenting. The Chinese have something called a social credit system, which looks at rewarding, good behavior in society. This is where you reward them to be able to actually spend good behavior in Starbucks, where you can go to Starbucks and go, I'll pay you $8 in cash and $2 in our social credit. So we're seeing these large-scale movements in the cryptocurrency to resolve, actual world problems. It is, ironically, again, I would say that the bigger strides are in the non-financial sector where we're seeing these movements. Things like, the Brexit issue. We did start to work with HMRC, the UK legislator of, tax authority, because here we have countries. We don't have, after Brexit, and we got China-America problems and so on. We don't have 10 years to write new agreements. So what you're looking for is to be able to actually compliantly ensure you have transparency of movement of trade and also reward, because you want to tax the movement of cash across countries. So these are, it's a brave new world. It's an exciting new world. It's only just emerging, the bigger things, where people go, that's why we need blockchain and cryptocurrency. I'm a big believer in these things, but I have to accept, it has had a troubled past. But, as we can see from this conference, things are moving forward.
I think, thank you, Professor Olinga. I think COVID-19 has opened doors for blockchain technology and the cryptocurrencies.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Before we end the session, I would like to ask the same question to everybody in the panel today. Just give me maybe a 1 word or 1 sentence or 2 sentence max. What do you think about the future of the blockchain technology itself, and also the future of the cryptocurrencies? I would like to start with Pandu. Just tell me, what do you think? What's the vision of the technology? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I don't know if I can make this short, but in my company, Blocksphere, we've been having a lot of projects within the last 12 months. So many. We've been having telco projects. We've been having banking projects. We did projects for an airport. We have multiple financial institutions. We did carbon credits tracking. Multiple consultancies for government bodies, and that's just within the last 12 to 6 months. So I think first of all, the future is bright, and the future is bright not in the way you think. It's not just B2C; it's also B2B. In the part of the market that is enterprise, a lot of projects are actually coming alive, and the way they're coming alive is through technologies that actually bring value, the kind of value that we have been talking about in this panel. I think the future will lead to a lot of. So the future of blockchain, though, if we're talking about 5 years, 10 years in the future, we're talking about huge effects in the customer journey, in the B2C customer journey itself. A lot of sci-fi stuff. Like you see a lot of things in the movies, like having a virtual assistant AI that integrates all the data of your life. You've seen that everywhere, but you know what? That is going to come. But the difference is with the blockchain, it'll come with you in control. It'll come with you in control of your data. It'll not come with like the current situation, like with Facebook and Twitter. Are they censoring people who are conservative, for example? Are they censoring a group of people, for example? I don't know. I'm not arguing for that. I'm arguing that it's possible. Platforms right now are very centralized, not just social media platforms. In the future, it's going to be platforms that are going to be our life platforms. Right now, we're already feeling it. Zoom is a big part of our lives right now. Other basically remote viewing, remote conferencing tools as well. That if we don't get the blockchain into the enterprise now and actually create solutions with it, then we will have something that is very, very untenable, a centralization of power which resides on top of platforms. With the blockchain, we can prevent that. We can have that sci-fi future, strong AI virtual assistants that actually wake me up telling me, hey, you know what? You might like this, you might like that, you might like this. You might want to buy this car, you might want to buy this new robotic pet, for example, but with privacy in mind, with control of the data in our hands. So I think that's the future, and I think it'll be
great. I agree to that. Thank you, Pandu. Thanks for those insights. Robin, would you like to take the same question, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. And also thank you very much, of course, to you for moderating this panel and helping us. And also thank you much to everybody here on the panel. I hope everybody gets a lot of LinkedIn requests from the hundreds of people watching right now. So my answer to this question is threefold. First, I think the future will be epic. Epic because I think when we meet in 10, 15 years again, hopefully in person again, we will laugh about our perception, what we thought the future will look like. On the other hand, I think we will be surprised what kind of application, service or product actually brought the breakthrough of blockchain technology in different various markets. If I remind what was the most successful app 2007 in the year the iPhone came out, it was actually an app that simulated that you could drink beer out of your cell phone. I mean, who would have guessed that one? And I think maybe we'll see something like that, that too, and from that others will develop. My call to action, that's a third thing, my call to action to everybody working in a traditional industry is, guys and girls, let's not pass this opportunity. In a lot of traditional industries, slept and ignored the internet itself, computing, social media, mobile internet, and this is a thing that will have at least as epic consequences as the other technologies. It's now time to invest. It's time to participate in these conferences. It's time to go to the crypto and blockchain community, and it's time to also invest money in piloting and developing. I know some companies are already doing it, but it's really about time to do it now. So that's my call to action if you're in the insurance and finance industry, or actually any other industry. Really think about how you can apply this technology.
Awesome, excellent, and I agree. Yes, we have to be I mean, we shouldn't be thinking it's risky, but we should be investing in the technology. So thank you, Robin. Next, I would have Antony. Would you like to take the same question? The vision of blockchain technology, the vision of money, the currency, the tokens, and the cryptos. What do you think?
Yeah.
They're all interconnected, so that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, and thank you for hosting and the other panelists. It's been a great session, and I think just echoing Robin's last point, this is all about people taking action and doing stuff. So, from my point of view, enterprise blockchain is growing massively now. There's more real production level solutions out there than most people think. I guarantee you there's a lot more than people realize out there. They're growing massively, they're growing quickly as well. So for me, it's like the internet back in the 90s. It's, it is real, it is going to happen, and it is going to transform our world. And I think as Pandu said before, your identity is key to this. So one of the biggest use cases I see is self-sovereign identity, or owning your own identity, digital identity. Be that as a human, be that as a company, be that as a thing, i.e. Internet of Things. All of those are really critical to actually understand this. So I think once we get identity fixed, as in what's the standard, what's the protocols, how does it work, we can then do most of the things that we've talked about and more. And I think, as for the future bit, I actually asked it in the book. So I've got 13 global contributors in the book. And I said to them, in 10 years' time, what does blockchain look like? Now, there's loads of answers in the book, but the one common theme was, we will not talk about blockchain. And I thought that was really fundamental, because blockchain will just be normal. You don't ask at the moment about the TCP link for this conference, do you?
Absolutely no.
You don't ask, how does your phone work? I don't know. So for me, 10 years from now, if we're talking about blockchain, we've failed. If we're using it without even knowing it, then we've done it.
Very, very rightly. The very good analogy, to be honest, Antony. Awesome. Thank you. So last but not least, Professor Olinga, would like to take your thoughts, because you are in the research field. So we'd like to see what research is coming out. What's the vision of the blockchain technology and the cryptos and the tokenization and all that? So how it's going to emerge in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, thank you. I think 3 very quick key targets we see. One is that, as Pandu mentioned, I think AI, blockchain, Internet of Things, and 5G will be converging together to form real solutions for the world. I don't think blockchain by itself can do it by itself.
Right.
The second one is that we think in the next 5 years, the Google of blockchain or Facebook of blockchain, etc., the big will emerge. I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't think it'll be drinking beer. I don't think so. I don't think people getting shot in America give a crap about drinking beer, so I don't think that's the issue. And I think the third is that it will converge by the year 2030, United Nations SDGs. And the world that we see coming together is actually very close to Pandu's vision. I have to say I was taken back by that. And it's that we will be able to change and nudge behavior through blockchain. We will do good things and get volunteering, and we'll get rewarded, maybe in a token. And we'll be able to go to Starbucks and go, I will pay with my volunteering token, and changing our behavior to be good citizens. I will be able to go down Google Street and shop here, not there, because they treat their staff well and there they don't. I'll be able to buy this milk, not this milk, because this is made by good cows, happy fields, happy children, and this is made through modern slavery. So I see, that as your colleagues, as Antony said, and Robin said, the fact is it will become integrated within the infrastructure of everything we do. We will not talk about it. I happen to know the guy who invented TCRP well. And the fact is, it will be part and parcel of our lives, but it will change and nudge our behavior, not like Facebook, etc., to more buy more stuff, but actually nudge our behavior to be better citizens in the world.
Amazing. Thank you, Professor Olinga, for those great insights. So that brings us to the end of the session. Thanks a lot for all the panel speakers for your time today, and hopefully we can share a panel in future, or maybe we can all meet together in future in person and curate another panel. Maybe we'll be talking about something else related to blockchain then, back in maybe 5 years from now, who knows. Thanks a lot, and take care, stay safe, and let's stay connected, and have a great day, all of you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sonny. Have a great day.
Thank you for the audience. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you,
coming
audience.
and being part with us today. So I really thank all of you. Thank you so much for joining the panel. Sonny did a great job again moderating the panel. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for being part of Blockjakarta 22.
Okay, then take care.
Okay,
Okay,
ladies and
take care, guys.
gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for the next session. We'll be starting shortly. You will be moved to the next room automatically. If not, please move yourself to the next room. Thank you so much.
Hey.